Hi there, it's Asia, and in this video I'd like to answer some of the most common questions people have about IELTS listening. And by doing that, help you avoid some mistakes and achieve a higher score. Thank you so much for sending your questions. And now, let's get started. The very first question is from Laden. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of your names. And the question is it okay to write all the answers in capital letters in IELTS listening? Absolutely. You can do that in both IELTS listening and IELTS reading, and both in the paper-based and computer-based exams. The next question is from Manya. How do we write dates, time, and do we use prepositions and articles? Excellent questions. Let's talk about each one by one. First of all, writing dates. For example, your question looks like that. Date of birth, gap, 1992. So there are two options to write the correct answer. You can just write 10 October or 10th October. And we know that when we pronounce it, we say the 10th of October. But you can just write 10 October and that's fine. Just remember that in English, you need to capitalize the first letter of each month, or write the whole word in capital letters. Here is the next question. Date of theft. So which option is correct? 6th September or 6th September? Both options are correct. If you've noticed, in both these questions, you didn't need to write the year. It was either already in the question or it wasn't needed at all. That's quite typical for IELTS. I looked through a number of questions and I couldn't find any where you would write the whole date. Now let's talk about the time. For instance, the question is, the opening ceremony starts at 2:45. You just write down 2:45 or 3:15, 3:15, that is 3:15. Sometimes in English we use AM to indicate morning hours, 8 a.m., and PM to indicate evening hours, 6 p.m. And you can write those letters in small letters or in capital letters, it's up to you. If you hear, for example, 8:30 a.m., just write it down like that, 8:30 a.m. But if you just hear 8:30, only write down the numbers and leave AM and PM out. The next question is whether you need to include prepositions in, on, at, and articles a, and the in your answers. The answer is no. They will be written in the question. Let me show you a few questions I found in the official practice tasks. Here is the first one. He was about 12, slim built with hair. You see, the preposition with is already there. And your answer is one word, dark, with dark hair. The next question is, some boys asked for the... So what's the answer? Time or the time? The answer is one word, time. Asked for the time. If you write down the time into this gap, then you will read, some boys asked for the time. The will be twice, which is incorrect. The sentence will be incorrect. You don't need to include the article into your answer. And the last one. He works as a teacher or a teacher. You see, the indefinite article a is already in the question, and the answer is one word, teacher. Hadiz asked a similar question. When the answer is academic calendar, and the task is to write not more than 3 words, would the following answer, the academic calendar, be wrong? Yes, it would be wrong. The next question is really interesting. How do we predict if the word is singular or plural? You are looking for a missing word, and when you write this word down in the gap, the sentence must become grammatically correct. And that's how you find if the word should be singular or plural. Let me show you a few questions from the official practice tests. You don't need to listen to the recording. Just look at the sentence and decide if the answer should be singular or plural. The project is likely to create a number of job or jobs. The answer is jobs, a number of jobs. A number of job is incorrect. Next. Water is released through a gate or gates. We have an indefinite article, which means that we need the singular noun, released through a gate. He takes no regular medication apart from vitamin or vitamins. The answer is vitamins. Apart from vitamins. Otherwise, we would need an indefinite article, which is not there. And one more. Visitors can walk in the farm's garden or gardens. What do you think? Which one is correct? Let's try. Walk in the farm's garden. That's correct. Walk in the farm's gardens. That's also correct. And both answers will be accepted as correct answers. The next question is from someone who would like to be known as an astronaut. I hope you become one day. Sometimes I don't write full answers. For example, the answer was frequent sandstorms, but I wrote frequent storms. Is it an incorrect answer? Well, let's have a look. It depends on the question. For example, the task may be choose not more than 3 words. And then you have 3 combinations: frequent storms, sandstorms, or frequent sandstorms. In this case, they all make sense and all 3 will be accepted as correct answers. I would like to say that this is not likely to happen in IELTS listening. In IELTS listening, you usually need to write down 1 word. It's more common for IELTS reading. But anyway, let's have a look at the next combination. The task is choose not more than 2 words. And we have the same 3 combinations. In this case, the first 2, frequent storms and sandstorms, are correct. But frequent sandstorms is wrong because it has an extra word. The next question is from Ala. Does it make any sense to check the answers? Well, at the end of each section in IELTS listening, you will hear, now you have some time to check your answers. And then, now you have some time to read questions from 8 to 16. And basically, there is not enough time to read all the questions that are coming. And if you haven't read them yet, it will be more difficult for you to answer them. So I think that it's better to spend all this time on reading and memorizing questions which are coming. Some people ask if they can actually turn pages in their brochure before they hear the command to do that. Yes, after the listening section begins, you are free to turn pages as you wish. And in a computer-based exam, you actually need to click on the next page to open questions because pages will not change automatically. Okay, so during the listening section, it makes no sense to spend time on checking your answers. But after the recording finishes, you will be given a bit of time. 10 minutes in a paper-based exam and 2 minutes in a computer-based exam. Of course, in a paper-based exam, you need to transfer your answers, but it doesn't take 10 minutes. So you have a bit of time to play with. And here's what I think you should do. Well, first of all, you should go back to all the questions where you missed answers. Read them again and just try to guess what the answer is. Sometimes it's possible. Then you should also pay attention to those questions where you write down words. So read them with the word you find and check if the sentence is grammatically correct. So that will help you to spot any errors between singular and plural nouns. Also, check that the spelling is correct. If you're not sure how to spell a certain word, try to write it down by hand on a sheet of paper in different variations and see which one you like most. Quite often, we can see the correct spelling. Okay, and one more thing that's only applicable to the paper-based exam. In a computer-based exam, you either drag answers to the correct place or you simply click on them. But in a paper-based exam, you may see a task like that. Choose 2 letters, A, E. A, decorating, B, cleaning, C, cooking, and so on. And let's say the first answer is correct. You need to write down the letter A, not the word decorating, so be careful about that. The next question is from Batira. The worst problem for me is that I lose an answer and then I keep on waiting for it and the recording goes on and then I don't know which part they're talking about. It's a tragedy. I agree, it would be a very expensive mistake because once you miss an answer, it's hard to get back on track. What I do is I try to keep an eye on 2 questions, the current question and the next question. You don't need to remember what the next question is about and all the options, just roughly the topic. And then when you hear something about it, you know that it's time to switch. It works for me and I do it in every exam, so try doing it in a practice test and see if it works for you. And then I received dozens of messages about just 2 types of questions, multiple choice questions and maps. And I'm totally with you. I also find that these 2 types of questions are the most challenging. And I've done my research. And I could find some patterns and develop some strategies. So I made 2 videos about each type of task. You can watch them right now. They also include some practice questions. And thank you so much for being with me today. Good luck with your preparation and your exam. Bye!